Hey guys, so I've had a lot of questions as an editor. A lot of people, I see a lot of gaming videos specifically on YouTube where their quality won't be as good as maybe some other, YouTubers, streamers. I'll show you what I mean. So if we look, let's go to Shima's channel. If you watch his video, you can see that especially in full screen, everything is super or yeah, very clear.
More one taps, man.
And his videos can be in 1440p, 1080p. Let's put at 1080p because I'm on a 1080p panel right now. And let me show you what I mean. So
Sweating their nuts off this
as you
game.
can see, if you look at his reticles, like nothing's pixelated, everything looks fine, and it
I'm
just
looking at you.
looks
Look at
pretty
his face.
crisp and smooth. So watching on mobile will be it's like super nice. Now let me show you one of my own edits. So, anyways, this is one of my examples for a pretty good quality video. You can see that everything's pretty definite. There's a little fuzziness on the edges. Let me mute my video. There's a little fuzziness on the edges right here, but it still looks great. And especially in the menus when there's no moving pixels, no moving objects, everything is crisp and clear. Like, and especially in a game like Rainbow Six Siege, there's a lot of colors. There's a reason why encoding video takes a lot of resources, and especially when you want to keep your video sizes to be small, especially for YouTube. They serve their service for billions of people, and they want to keep their service smooth for everyone, so they have to compress their videos and encode them. But anyways, moving on. This video I edited on Adobe Premiere Pro, and I exported at a bit rate of around 15 megabits per second. Now let me go to one of my other examples before I learn a solution to this. Let's look at quarantine moments. You see, it's a lot more. You can really tell that there's a little bit of like a blurriness to everything, little pixelated. You can even tell by the reticle on my ACOG and like the surrounding circle on my ACOG right here, that there's a little bit of pixelated. You can see in the edges of the GUI in the game, and this there's a reason why. Let me show you. So if you right click on the video, select Stats for Nerds, you can see the codec up here. Videos with higher traffic, higher internet traffic, will they get encoded in a better quality codec because they're in high demand, and people they want the service to be nice and smooth. So for the higher demanded videos, they encode in a better codec. But in videos like this is like I don't have that many subscribers. I don't get that many views. Like this has 58 views, and you can tell that this is encoded in AVC. Let's go to a random video. All right, this right here. This is encoded in VP09, and as you can see, it's super good. Super everything's defined. If you look at his crosshair when he's moving, it is very high quality. Like it just looks really good compared to my other video on my channel, like this one, AVC. This is my stream highlights, and this is what it looks like. It's not as good. On Valorant is not that bad because there's not that many drastic changing colors and movement. There's not as many complex images. But now let's get to the part where I will show you how to basically force YouTube to encode in a higher bit rate or in a better codec. Let's go to my DJ channel. All right, let's go to my DJ channel. Let's go to my bass house mix. Of course, I have a lot more views. I have like 7,000, but let's just take a look at it. Again, I'm viewing in 1080p. It goes up to I record up to 4K on here, But let's just take a look. As you can see, I mean, obviously there's not as many moving objects, but even just looking at my hands, like moving, like right here, it looks very good. And especially when we go up to 4K, it looks very crisp. And if you look at stats for nerds, this is obviously encoded in VP09. So like practically the best codec on YouTube. In this video, I want to show you how to force YouTube to get a better codec. So I'm going to show you my favorite method to get YouTube to encode in a better quality video and make your gaming videos look much better. I can watch my video in 1080p and 1440p, but I play games at 1080p. I play on a 1080p 240 hertz monitor. So how do I get this to go to 1440p but not look like trash, as you can see? So obviously I use Adobe Premiere Pro. When I encode my videos after I edit them, I export them in 1440p. You can do that, but how do you make it not look like shit? You can do it by using sharpening. Let's open up Premiere Pro. Let's go to our effects and let's look up sharpen. So sharpen basically sharpens artificially sharpens the image, and obviously there's a point, you know, if you sharpen your video too much, it's gonna look bad. Now we have to apply the sharpen effect, and again I'm using Premiere Pro. Say you're using DaVinci Resolve or Sony Vegas, those two programs should have the sharpen effect as well. Maybe some, I don't know, maybe some online video editors. I don't really recommend those. But again, let's move on. Let's apply the sharpen. And now if you select the clip, the video clip you want to sharpen, you have additional effects effect control called sharpen amount. So right now it's at 0, so the video will look fine. For me personally, I would go from a setting of 10. So you can definitely tell like the white images look a lot brighter, and I don't know if you can tell, but you can sort of tell everything looks sharper. Yeah, you can again, if you're on a higher resolution display, you could probably definitely tell. But you can go up to 15. But like, if you look very closely, you can see there's like a little like, you know, white artifacts right around my overlay for my system stats, like my GPU and CPU temperatures and usages and my FPS. But everything else looks very sharp, but I recommend around like 12. Again, it will actually depend what type of game you're playing, because Siege has a lot of complex images and a lot of textures, and that's, you know, it really depends. But once you're ready to export, let me put my ins and outs right here. Let's go to File, Export Media. So you don't want to select match sequence settings. So you obviously want to select an output name, what name you want the video to be, and you want to uncheck this for basic video settings. The width and the height. All these check marks do are basically match the settings to the sequence, and we don't want to do that right now. And now, very carefully, these are the encoding settings. Let me expand this a little bit. So you want to leave this at software encoding. I mean, I don't really have a choice because I don't have a hardware encoding. But let's set this to high, the profile to high, and let's set this to 5. The level to, what was it, 5.1. So the reason why we want to increase our level is to increase basically the limit of resolution to the video. So let's move this to 2560 by 1440. I have this lock on, which means it will lock onto the 16:9 aspect ratio. And now we're at 1440p, as you can see. Now we want to select our bitrate encoding, and we want to set it to CBR. CBR means a constant bit rate. VBR is basically variable bit rate, and it varies the bit rate between the scenes like automatically. Say there's no moving images, it will lower the bit rate, and if there's fast moving images, it will increase the bit rate. But right now we're just going to keep a constant bit rate. And usually, YouTube recommends 12 megabits per second and all that jazz, but I'm going to output at 50 because I want the maximum quality. Now, in audio, we want to set the sample rate to 48,000 hertz because that's the standard. We're going to use AAC, audio quality high, bitrate 320. You can set this all the way down to 160 kilobits per second, but there's not really a need for that unless if you're really confined on storage or something. And basically, we also want to check this use maximum render quality, and that is my render settings. So once you get all this done, you want to click export and then upload on YouTube, and it will basically look something like this: a high quality video. This is of course encoded in VP09, as you can see. I use the exact same video editing process, adding the sharpening effect, exporting it in 1440p at a bitrate of 50 megabits per second, and it looks really good, encoding in VP09. And obviously, when you actually upload this video or any video that you're using this technique on, in the process of the processing and the encoding, it's going to take longer, but that's because VP09 is a more demanding codec, and therefore it will take additional time. But the video, as a result, looks really good. And again, I am watching at 1440p, but as you can see here, but it looks good even on a 1080p monitor. It looks a lot better. There's less, fuzziness and graininess. And that's the technique. So to summarize it, use the sharpening effect, turn it to like a small degree where it will look a little sharper but without any artifacts, and then export the video into 1440p, upload the video to YouTube, and it will just end up like this. Perfect. And thank you very much for watching. Subscribe, like the video, share this video. I know a lot of people really need this technique, so please share this video to anyone who might be of concern. And if you have any questions, comment down below, or you can go to my Discord in a link below, down in the description. And thank you for watching. I'll see y'all later.